how did this episode make you feel inside? Did it hit you the same way it hit me? Because this is what peak cinema feels like. Daredevil is operating on another level right now. So let's dive straight into episode 8, which was an absolute ride. The entire episode opens with a blue rose, seen from inside Dex's prison cell. And every time we cut to his perspective, the whole environment around him has this eerie blue tint. It's subtle, but it makes perfect sense when you start seeing things from his lens. This was a brilliant touch, and if you notice something familiar in the way this episode was shot, the tracking shots, the panning zooms, the constant sense of movement and chaos, you're not wrong. This episode and the finale next week are directed by the same duo who made Loki Season 2. If you look at it from a cinematic perspective, the similarities are crystal clear. Now, Fisk pulls some strings and gets Bullseye, Dex, moved to a different prison facility. Why? Because among regular inmates, it would have been dangerous for him. They try to kill him. But what's interesting is how this ties back to the last episode, the mystery around who killed Luke. Vanessa tells someone to take care of Luke, sends him to a restaurant. But Wilson Fisk is already one step ahead. He kills Luke himself. This confirmed the fan theory that Vanessa and Fisk are working together again. And Fisk even says to Vanessa, "What you did to Luke, what you do to others." I want to understand your thinking. Fisk and Vanessa's relationship is clearly growing stronger. What started off fragile in episode 1 has matured slowly through the season. Now it feels unbreakable. But while that bond is strengthening, Matt and Haider's relationship is breaking down. It started strong. Now it's spiraling. Why? Because both Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock are slowly returning to their old ways. Fisk becoming mayor and getting back into his kingpin persona is exactly what Vanessa wanted. She didn't want a clean politician, she wanted a ruler of crime. So as Fisk leans back into darkness, their bond strengthens. But when Matt does the same, starts spiraling back into Daredevil mode, his bond with Haider weakens. Haider's smart enough to analyze the whole situation, but she's clearly hurt. She says she saved herself, but we all saw it. If Daredevil hadn't crashed through that window, she'd have been dead. This episode is full of brilliant parallels. It started with Matt and Fisk, and now it's diving deep into their psychological layers. Look at Fisk, back in his office, running meetings, starting an anti-vigilante task force. Newspapers are praising him. One of them is the New York Examiner, which is significant because it was previously seen in The Punisher and Falcon and The Winter Soldier. That ties the MCU continuity together. And then there's Muse. Ben Urich's report pins the killings on him. All this shows how much groundwork the writers are laying down. Then there's Matt, walking into the same bar where Foggy was killed in episode 1 by Bullseye. The weight of memory hangs in the air. There's even some clever Easter eggs, like the girl's Spencer sign and a shout out to costume designer Toby or Tony Dalton. If it's Tony Dalton, maybe there's a swordsman reference brewing? Joji meets Matt at the bar, talks about reopening it. She pulls out a bottle of Melva's, the same brand Foggy and Matt used to celebrate winning cases. That moment hits hard, because when Matt realizes Joji was celebrating, it confirms that Foggy was the intended target that night, not Matt. To double check this, Matt confronts Dex in prison. He asks again and again, "Who sent you? Who wanted Foggy dead?" But Dex tells him nothing. Matt slams his head into the wall, pretending Dex attacked him. But before leaving, Dex throws out a line. "You're the kind of guy who protects even your enemy." That line pays off later in a huge way. Fisk throws a massive fundraiser gala, dress code black and white, but Vanessa walks in wearing red. A clear visual standout. The whole party is filmed in a way that feels like absolute cinema. The camera moves seamlessly between characters, tracking their conversations, building tension. Meanwhile, back at the prison, Dex breaks free in a horrifyingly clever way. He snaps his own tooth, spits it into a guard's eye, kills him, and escapes. This isn't just random brutality, it's straight from the comics. Bullseye has used his own teeth as weapons before. It's not the first time. Now some fans think Matt orchestrated Dex's escape to use him as a weapon against Fisk, but I don't believe that. No matter how broken Matt is, I don't think he'd unleash someone like Dex, a mass murderer, into the world just to chase his own vendetta. Meanwhile, the anti-vigilante task force is getting out of control. There's a moment where one of them shoves a guy's hand into a fryer just because he took a photo of Fisk. Even the commissioner is trying to rein them in, but it's getting out of hand. We also find out that Fisk is blackmailing rich donors, including Jack Duquesne, swordsman from Hawkeye, to fund his Red Hook project. He threatens to expose their secrets unless they pay up. Classic Kingpin move. Now the gala continues. Background music swelling. Matt confronts Haider briefly, but he's not focused on her anymore. His target is Fisk. He starts piecing everything together, including Vanessa's role in Foggy's death. Then comes a key moment. Fisk leans in to tell Vanessa something. Matt hears enough to turn suspicion into certainty. He leaves Haider mid-dance, storms up to Vanessa and confronts her. There's a comic arc where Foggy appears dead, but is actually kidnapped by Vanessa. Episode 1 teased this, and now that Vanessa seems to be behind Foggy's death, this theory makes even more sense. Maybe Foggy's not dead, just held captive. The final confrontation at the gala is intense. Wilson and Matt are speaking in metaphors, mind games, manipulation. It's peak tension. Then suddenly, bang, a shot rings out. Bullseye starts sniping from afar. We get that iconic radar sense moment. The frame changes, the colors shift blue. Symbolism again tying us back to Dex's world. And in that moment, Matt, who is blaming Fisk for everything, saves his life. He jumps in front of the bullet. It perfectly completes that earlier line. Good men protect even their enemies. Now the complexity deepens. Matt hates Fisk but saves him. Fisk manipulates everything but might lose Vanessa. And Haider, she's starting to piece things together. She's smart enough to figure out Matt is Daredevil, and if she does, especially while working on Fisk's task force, that could spell major trouble. This was Daredevil, Born Again, Episode 8, and the finale is next week. Same directors, same energy, and according to Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, these last 2 episodes were their favorites to shoot. I'm beyond excited for the finale. But what about you? What did you feel?